Hi, good day everybody and greetings user. I am here today to discuss about the, the case modeling. So case modeling. The requirement of a system describe what the user expects from the system. In other words, what the system will do for the user. When defining the requirements of a system, the system should be viewed as a black box. So of course, um, black box jud ang kanang kuan. So that only the I mean external characteristics of the system are considered. So there are um, there are types of kana galing case modeling. So the first one is that the first one is the requirement of requirements modeling. So uh, there are two there are two main reasons for developing a new software system, either to replace a manual system or to replace an existing software. So alternatively, the the new system might be developed to replace an existing software system that has become seriously outdated. For example, because it runs an um, because it runs an because it runs an obsolete hardware, um, such as centralized mainframe system, or because it was developed using an obsolete language such as COBOL, and or because the system has little or no documentation. So, and the next one is the requirement analysis. So what is requirement analysis? Requirement analysis. So the first requirement analysis is describe the functionality that the system must provide for the user. Um, Analyzing an existing manual system involves understanding and documenting the current system, determining which features of the current system should automated and which should remain manual, and discussing which should remain manual, and discussing with users what functions could be done differently when the system is automated. Okay. Um, Requirement analysis also analyzing an existing software system. This is extracting the software animated and separating functional requirements from functions that result from design or implementations decisions, and identifying non-functional um, requirements, deciding what functions should be done differently and what the new functions should be added. So, ang kind ang requirement analysis, so from the word itself, analyze. So, you have to analyze kung uh, na kung unsa pa nga mga functions ang needed nga i-add. Okay? So, and the next one is the requirement specification. So what is requirement specification? So the requirement specification is the documents that needs to be agreed on the requirements analyst and the users. So requirements specification also is the starting point for the subsequent design and development. So it must also be understood by the developers, both functional requirements and non-functional requirements needed to be satisfied. Okay, so ang functional requirements describes the functionality the system must be capable of providing in order to fulfill the purpose of the system. In defining functional requirements, it is necessary to describe what functionality the system needs to provide, what information needs to be input to the system for the external environment. Okay. So and the next one is the the quality attributes of software requirements specification. So the first one is the correct. Okay, so the first one is the correct. Correct is the accurate interpretation of the user's need. So like for example, kung di ba kaya opposite sa correct is wrong. So dapat ang sa kani pa lang mga attributes kay dapat kay ma-meet na ni customer ang expectations niya sa kanang sa usa ka butang. So and the next one is the complete. So complete, the SRS includes every significant requirements. The SRS needs to define the system response to every possible input, whether it is correct or incorrect. So and the third one is the unambiguous. So every stated requirements has only one interpretation. So dapat kuno kang ang usa ka program sa programmer kay nalay isa ka interpretation para dili na maglibog si user. So the first one is consistent or consistency, ensuring that individual requirements do not conflict. So like for example, so dapat ang flow sa imong program consistent gud na para dili ma-confuse galin si user, para dili na maglibog si user. So the next one is the verifiable. The requirement specification is effect, a contract between the developer and the customer organization. So of course, kung maghimo galing tag mga applications, so of course kay dapat verifiable gud na siya ha. Kanay for example kung need mag-contact ni user sa developer, so dapat mag-contact dahil niya si developer when basig na sa mga sana mga questions about sa kanang applications. So the next one is understandable by non-computer specialists. The users of the systems are likely to be non-computer specialists. Requirements should be written in a narrative text that is easily understood. So of course kay not all users man good nga makabaw sa computer. So of course kalisad si developer kay mangita sa ni siya kanang mga ways nga kung unsaon pag-interact sa katong mga tao galing nga bag-ura nakakuhan og computer or dili pa kaayo hanas og computer nga users. So and the next one is modifiable. Each requirement should only be stated in one place, otherwise inconsistencies could creep into the specification. So of course sad kuno dapat modifiable. So the next one is traceable. Of course dapat kay traceable sad ang applications nga gibuhat ni developer kay para more gani siya nga sana basta needs to be traceable backwards to the system level requirements and to the user's needs. And the next is the use cases. Wait. Next is the actor. So what is actor? Actor is an characterizes external users that interact with the system. Actors are the only external entities that interact with the system. In others, actors are outside the system and part of it. So, actor is a simple use case. Okay, so we have also a primary and secondary actor. Primary and secondary actor. So, an actor represents a primary actor initiates a use case. The use case starts with an input from the primary actor to which the system has to respond. So, ang primary actor kay ang pag-response na ni sa systems and to the users ang pag-interact nila doon. So, ang secondary actor can participate in the use case at least one actor must gain value from the use case. Usually, this is the primary actor. So, an example of primary and secondary actors is the remote system actors initiate the generate monitoring data use case. So, in which the remote system sends monitoring data that is displayed to monitoring operators. In this use case, the remote system is the primary actor that initiates the use case, and the monitoring operator is a secondary actor who receives the monitoring data and hence gains value from the use case. Excuse me. So, and the next one is the modeling actor. So, what is modeling actors? I mean, human actor. So, human actor typically uses various I/O to physically interact with the system. A human actor interacts with the system via standard I/O devices such as keyboards, display, or mouse. So, an example of this human actor is that in the emergency response system, an example of an actor is the monitoring operator who interacts with the system via standard I/O devices. Okay. Another example of human actor is an ATM customer who interacts with the banking system by using several I/O devices, including a card reader, cash dispenser, and receipt printer, in addition to a keyboard and display. So the next one is, okay, who is the factor? I mean, who is the actor? Who is the actor? So sometimes it is not clear who the actor is. In fact, the first the first assessment may not be correct. For example, in the use case to report stolen card, in which a user actor phones the bank to inform them that the ATM card has been stolen, it would seem obvious that the customer is the actor. So of course, ang customer is the actor. However, if the customer in fact talks over the phone to a bank clerk who actually enters the information into the system, then it is the clerk who is the actor. Okay, so diba, klaro kaayo kung kinsa ang actors. Okay, so the next one is documenting use cases in the use case model. Okay, so murag ubay-ubay di sila. So the first one is use case name. So each use case is a given name. So of course, each use case is a given name. And the second one, dependency. This describes within the use case depends on others use cases. Number 3, actors. This names the actors in the use case. Preconditions. One or more conditions that must be true at the start of use from the perspective from this use case. Next is the description of alternative sequence. A narrative description of the main sequence of the use case, which is the most usual sequence of interaction between the actor and the system. So we have here description of main sequence. The bulk of the use case is a narrative description of the main sequence of the use case. Non-functional requirements. So what is this non-functional requirements? So it is a narrative description, non-functional requirements such as performance and security requirements. So the next one is the post condition. Condition that is always true at the end of the use case if the main sequence has been followed. So, and the next one is the outstanding question. During development, questions about the use case are documented for the discussion or for the users. So what's next? So next is the extend relationship. So okay, So the purpose of this extended relationship is to show a conditional part of the base use case that is executed only under certain circumstances. So, and the extended relationship also will help us to model complex or alternative paths. So the extension use case has one insertion segment for extension point. So mao ni ang extension point. The extension use case has one insertion segment for the extension point. Extension points are used to specify the precise locations in the base use case at which extensions are can be added. So the next one is the Arnatasa example na isang koan. Okay, next. Okay, so these are the example of check on how to check out customer based use case. So of course, ang sa first wala na kay ang use case name. So mana to check out customer. Ang summary kay system check out customer. Then ang actor kay of course ang customer. So precondition checkout station is idle, displaying a welcome message. So of course, so dapat kung sa entrance pa lang, sa intro pa lang kay nago na siyang greetings or kanang welcoming ba of the customer. So number one, sequence ani niya kay customers can select item. Number two, system displays the item name, price, and cumulative total. And number three, customers repeat steps 1 and 2 for each item being purchased. Number 4, customers selects payment. And number 5, system prompts for payments by cash, credit card, or debit card. And number 6, payment. Number 7, system displays dapat sad kay ang pang last na kay magpasalamat sa customers like ma'am, thank you, like that. So I guess that's all for today, and my name is Rex Bihele, and my name is Rex Bihele, and now signing off.